Welcome to another week's episode of The Regular. Today you have some new faces. You have myself, Josh, and Dylan.
Let's go.
We are the youth team. I'm the middle school director. If you didn't know, Dylan is the high school director. You don't get Breckling today. I'm sorry. If you really, really love her, you don't get her today, but you get me and Dylan.
That's okay. We're cooler. Honestly, just ask our high schoolers, ask our middle schoolers. They will tell you we are cooler.
We are cooler.
And it's boys takeover. Let's go.
Boys
That's
takeover.
right. Let's go.
Boys rule, girls drool.
Ooh, man, we're gonna get hostile. Maybe it's gonna be girls takeover next time.
Maybe. Okay, let's not get into
we
that
won't get into that too much.
Anyways, we have a special guest with us also today, Scott Schumacher. Thank you for joining us. Scott, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Oh, thank you for having me. I am involved with the North State Care Clinic. I am on the board of directors there and got involved with it about a year ago. And God has just put this passion and this fight in me to help girls and boys that find themselves pregnant unexpectedly, to love on them and to love on the baby and to help provide them with all the choices that are out there. Right now, the world is like, hey, when we go to the Women's Health Center, they're pushing abortions, and they'll say, you can imagine these kids coming in, they're shocked, they're 15, 16, 17 years old, and they're just freaking out. And when they speak to someone at one of these other clinics, they'll say, do you have the finances to take care of this baby? Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
How about your family? Do you have family that's going to help you take care of them? Sometimes. A lot of times not. Well, the best way to take care of this is now a problem is to abort.
Yeah.
And so they're going down that road. And my passion is to provide all of the choices to these men and women so that they can make a decision. And God's doing that and has done that through the North State Care Clinic for the past 40 years here in Reading.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you weren't there on Sunday, Scott is part of the North State Care Clinic, and he shared a little bit about his story, and I thought it was very interesting. You were sharing a little bit how about a year ago you had a social media fast. I thought it was very interesting because I did a social media fast about like two months ago.
Yeah.
And you were saying how like it really like just opened your mind, and it really did open my mind too. And I think a very interesting thing that you said was like where the Lord spoke to you, like about what is your fight going to be, and that's what we want to talk about today a little bit. So Scott, like what did the Lord do in you? Like what happened there when you felt that from the Lord?
Yeah. Well, I really struggle with comfort. And when I'm bored, I seek comfort in social media and these dopamine hits. It's like I'm struggling with it today. And I think that it's hard for us it's hard for me to connect with God when that's happening. And about a year ago, I decided to fast social media and streaming and reels. Man, I love reels, or my brain does, my body does, my spirit hates it, loathes it. It just leaves me broken. And it's fun stuff that I'm streaming and stuff, but it's not good for my soul. So I fasted it. And during that time, God's like, what's your deal? Like, what's your purpose? What do you want to, what are you going to do? You've got opportunity to do stuff. And I need you to pick a fight. Like, he's like, and it might be through like a podcast, says every man needs to have a fight. And during that time, I realized that God has put in me, in most men, all men, I believe, our purpose is to protect, and then to provide. And I decided to go towards the road of the North State Care Clinic because one of my best friends, Chris Lamb, is in that. And I'm like, hey, dude, can I tag along? Yeah. He's like, yeah, come to one of the meetings and check it out. Yeah. And man, that bravado in me of wanting to love on the moms and the babies and the dads. And the biggest part is the spiritual warfare is just huge. Yeah. And the best thing that we could have people doing for the clinic is praying and just fighting that spiritual battle. Because man, when we get on the playing field, it's a battle. Yeah. And so it's been a hard year, but it's been a very rewarding and purposeful year.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, I'll share just personal experience with North State. My wife and I, and I've shared this a little bit publicly with our church, but we actually, our first child that we conceived, we had an ectopic. For those of you that don't know what ectopic pregnancy is, it's where the egg latches in the tube. So it attaches to the tube. It actually is very, very dangerous for the female, and it's not viable. You cannot have that baby. And so we went through a very, very traumatic season of grieving and loss, and it was just, a really trialing season. On this last baby, Scotty, who is just the beauty that we just have now in our life that we love so much, we had the fear come back again of this season that we had previously had of ectopic. Of course, that fear, that trauma is still going to be there, and we didn't know where to go. We were sitting there every day. We're coming home, and Paige and I are like, is this another ectopic? Is this going to be the same thing over and over again? Are we going to go through the same trauma we went through last time? No one would give us, ultrasounds until a certain point. They just wouldn't do it. And the only place we could find that would do an ultrasound at 6 weeks was North Care Clinic. And so we went in there, and not only, I'll never forget, first of all, we're shaking, we're nervous. My wife's nervous. And I'm sitting in the seats, and we're waiting for that doctor to come in and give the ultrasound. And I got at 3 men, and you might have been one of them, I'm not sure, but 3 men came around me, and they were like, hey, I just want you to know that we have like these programs for you to train you, and you can actually earn points, and you can get these certain things. And you guys have this huge amount of support that you bring to these men, not just the women, but the men as well, to really help them in this season. And so I just wanted to share that obviously we went and had the ultrasound, and we got the good news that the baby was in the uterus where it was supposed to be. But I think just that experience at being at that clinic and being surrounded and knowing that there was support all around us, the woman, the man, the family in general, it was all there. So
that is so cool to have a group that specializes in this area, to love on you and surround you with options, information, training, prayer. Like it's amazing. We have the medical side of the care clinic, but we also have the resources, which is where you study and you get points, so you can get diapers and clothing and different things for the baby. And that men's program, we're looking for a champion to lead our men's program. We've got 3 or 4 guys that are already in there loving on the dads, teaching them masculinity and how to father and whatnot. But then we want to get somebody in there to champion them and kind of lead that. That's like one of the needs that we have.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think it's so beautiful, because it's something that's new to me, something that I haven't really heard much about, to be honest. You hear it, but you don't really know how to help. And I think it's so beautiful to see how you guys are helping these moms and helping these families with medical support, but also giving them that spiritual support, which is so important. I think you even talked a little bit about it on Sunday, how it's it's so important to have that spiritual side of it too. And I feel like we just live in a world that, going back to the topic of what is our fight, I'll even share a little bit for me, working with middle school, there's different things that we have to help every single person fight, whether they're younger, whether they're older, whatever their age is, all of us have something that we have to fight for, and we have to, spiritually, we can only get so much help in the physical world, but there is a spiritual side to it that sometimes we don't really see, And I think question as well for you is how do you balance that, how do you know how this I can help physically, or this we really just need to pray into.
Gosh, it all starts with prayer, and getting myself positioned to experience the Lord, because I got this monkey mind, so it's there's so many forces coming against us. But I actually wanted to avoid that question and bring up we have on my heart, so many people have shared with me that they've gone through having abortions, or their girlfriend had an abortion, and 20, 30, 40 years later, they're still carrying this guilt and this shame. And if these people had gone through a North State Care Clinic, we could have loved them through that process. And they're, aborting a baby, it's a sin, but it's no different than than me making something an idol. Like it's all the same, but man, this is just such a powerful thing. And so if there's people that have experienced in that, I really, like, my prayer is that God doesn't want you focusing on the shame.
Yeah.
That's not from God.
Yeah.
Like, and you can come into the clinic and we can love on you, because several people that work there have gone through the experience. But man, that the freedom that can be experienced through lifting that shame, and it's all over our city. It's in our church.
Yeah.
But like, God's forgiven us for that. It's behind. Yeah. Satan wants to remind us of things, but he's got your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, like, even in church, it can be one of those taboo topics where we're like, we stand against abortion, but then we live in a church of just mixed diversity where you never know who and what somebody has gone through, you know. And I'll share personally, like my stepmom, her first child that she was pregnant with, she had an abortion. And to this day, and it's part of her testimony, and she shares it openly, so I know that I have permission to share this, but, it's part of her testimony, but she, like you were saying, and I can feel the emotion from you. I feel that passion. I feel like that is your fight right now. But she carried, for so long, she carried that grief and that shame of, I should have never done that. Why did I do that? This, and being able to wrap around somebody. And like you said, show them that is not from the Lord, that there is grace here, and we're here to cover and to love and just to support you, is amazing. I really see that in, just in the way you speak, and I think that alone right there is just such a standing point of standing firm and saying, no, we're not going to wrap around and kind of shun you or push you out. Like, that's not at all. We're actually going to support you. We're going to pull you in and say, shame is not a part of this. You're loved here.
When you get another woman that's gone through that experience to love on somebody that's gone through the experience, the power in that is just so incredible. And there's so much healing that can be done and is done with that. If we can, like, a little bit earlier, like, help people get the information for these choices. Like, there's a gal, this was 4 weeks ago, 15 years old. She maybe weighs 105 pounds, just this tiny little gal. She came in the clinic just freaked out, shaking. Her boyfriend was with her, and she decided to choose life that day because she met with Kirsten and the team. Mm-hmm. Kirsten's amazing, by the way. Our new director, she's absolutely amazing. And she said, like, my mom's going to be disappointed, but she's going to help. She's going to help any way she can. Wow. And so now the gals at the clinic are going to be loving her and are loving her through this process. And here's the key. I'm a little ADHD, if you can't tell, is when we can show a sonogram or an ultrasound to the moms and dads, and they see that this little blob is alive and it's moving, and we can hear the heartbeat. When they see that, they realize that this just isn't a clump of cells. Yeah. This is a living being that they get. This is theirs. And the place across the street, they are required to have an ultrasound before they abort a baby, but they do not show it to the moms and the dads. Mm-hmm. If they show it to the moms and dads, when we show it to the moms and dads, 70-something% of the time, the moms want to choose life, and they do choose life. Wow. When the men see it, it's 93%.
Wow.
When the men see that, oh my gosh, and that's that instinct that God has put within us men, is to protect that baby. So the key strategically for me and my business brain is we need to get more and more ultrasounds. And when we can do an ultrasound and show them that ultrasound instead of hiding it from them so that we can make money on aborting the baby. Yeah. Now, let me tell you this, the Women's Health Center, I want to see them thrive. We want to love on them, but we want them to not be aborting the babies. Yeah. The Women's Health Center can provide all these great things and help them. Like, that's my prayer, is that that God will bless the Women's Health Center by pruning off that which is not good and holy and honorable. Yeah. And we'll see. Abortion is a $1.9 billion industry.
That's crazy. Wow.
$1.9 billion. And I believe a third of it or something like that is in California.
Wow.
Like it's insane. Yeah. And so,
yeah, I want to speak into that real quick, because I think it's really pushed that, I think it is. I don't think it's a coincidence that there's 3 guys here speaking on this right now. Yeah. And it's really pushed in the world right now that as guys, you can have an opinion, but your opinion should stay over there kind of, and I actually love this. I think that this is happening for a reasoning. And I think that statistic that you just shared of 93% of men say yes when they hear that heartbeat. I can share my experience the moment I heard that heartbeat. Yeah. And like, as a man, when you sit there and you see that and you hear that and you're like, yeah, this is real. This is happening. Yeah. But then when you have that man support that woman, and that I think is what is going to really change the statistics. Yeah. But, I think that's such a huge thing. And I really think, as men, this can be our fight. Yeah. We can fight to stand and support and comfort and really surround these women in what they're going through.
Yeah. That's awesome. Scott, just so we can wrap up, what are ways that people can help? If someone's looking to help, what are ways that we can help in? How can we help?
Cool. We just bought the building right across the street from the Women's Health Clinic, which is the only place in Reading that does surgical abortion. So we're right next door to them now. Wow. We've got about $250,000 that we need to raise to finish that project, and then we'll own the building. Then we'll own the building clear, which creates financial strength for us. The difference in that rent is going to allow us to. Well, I won't get into that number. So money first. Prayer. We're also looking for medical people that can do ultrasounds, nurses, or like nurses assistants that like with the paperwork. Yeah. So there's a medical side. So for the men, we have a building now, and so having a list of guys that can just go and fix things, like a honeydew list. So Kirsten can be dealing with training staff and loving on mamas and babies, and not, there's a leak in the roof or this electrical problem. Yeah. So if we can have a honeydew list group for the building. Yeah. And there was another one. Advocates. An advocate is somebody, kind of the bubbly person that wants to love on somebody, have some of these heart-to-heart conversations. Men advocates, women's advocates that'll like walk through them and be that uncle or that auntie for that person or those people going through this. Yeah. And then if you're not as bubbly, but you're more into paper and processes, administrative help in the office is needed as well. Yeah. So there's lots of needs, lots of different ways to just call the clinic and we'd love to give people tours and stuff. Yeah. We do have an open house coming up this Sunday, the 9th, from 3 to 5, I believe. Okay. That's so awesome. If people want to check it out, at the new building, really cool.
Absolutely. What's the address of the new building?
Oh, geez. 2021 Victor Avenue. Yep. Just south of the abortion clinic in town.
Awesome. Wow. Cool. That's amazing. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Dylan, thank you. Guys, thank you so much. If this is something that's burning in your heart, I really encourage you to get involved with Scott and the North State Care Clinic and what they're doing. And go find them after church on Sunday. Go talk to them. Try to grab a number. There's so many ways that you can help, like Scott said. So if this is burning on your heart, I really encourage you to go find them and partner with what they're doing. And thanks for tagging along. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Amen.